Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today so that we can discuss Devil's Playground. I've seen this documentary a few times over the years. It's always a powerful, interesting, memorable experience for me. So I've watched a lot of documentaries about the Amish. And in this case, it focuses specifically on the Amish as they become teenagers and they start to make the decision on, do we want to stay in the Amish lifestyle? Because the Amish don't believe in baptizing children. They don't think that you can choose to follow God until you're an adult. So once you near adulthood, then you have to kind of make the decision if you're going to stay. And if you want to, you can leave, or you can just like take time out in the world of the English and, experience life and decide like, hey, is this something that I want to commit to, or do I want to stay, do I want a life out here, outside of the Amish community? So I've seen other documentaries about this topic, but even the PBS stuff like doesn't actually break through into the Amish community. It's mostly like audio interviews and not a lot of footage from, except from like a distance. Devil's Playground takes you directly inside this world. Like they call it Rumspringa or like running around. That's like the time where they can kind of go a little bit wild and see, if the temptations of the world are enough to make them want to leave the Amish lifestyle or whatever. And this documentary follows, especially like a handful of Amish, of Amish people as they try to decide what they want to do with their lives. They end up falling into addiction, lust, just craziness, all that kind of stuff. Some of them just like having a phone or like having a job is enough to like tempt them to, to not want to go back. But this looks at all the, the highs and the lows of the experiences, of these people as they decide what they're going to do. It also looks at like, gives their perspective on what it's like to be Amish. Like, and because you're getting this up close, personal, these stories from them, it just hits different. Some of the other documentaries that were maybe like felt like a little bit more detached. But this, it's marketed heavily like it's a Mondo movie, like see the Amish lured into temptation. And like, it is kind of like that, but there's a lot of like heart and compassion here as well. So I just think it's a great documentary. Like I said, I've seen it a few times over the years, and every time it still like captivates me. It's just such an interesting like slice of life of something that's, most of us will never experience. And it's just kind of like really neat to see a really truly inside that world view, of what's going on there. But that's my review for Devil's Playground. If you want to check out more, I got a full movie review playlist right here on YouTube, as well as taste tests, live streams, TV show reviews, wrestling reviews, all that kind of stuff. But thanks so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you soon.